We're back again.
Yeah.
For a pre-workout, but it's not leg day today, it's actually push day. So we're going to take you through a push day. So it's going to be chest dominant. So pretty much going to start with some bench press, move into incline, then do some shoulder work. Probably do some flies actually before the shoulders. We'll take you through anyway. But yeah, it's going to be a push day, chest dominant. Actually, what we want to do is, before we go in the gym, just have a little bit of a talk about this cat nest, because he's now been doing, he's been cutting now for quite a while. But he's not been doing it the usual way where people just go real hard on it.
It's not super serious, let's just say. Like, it's not one
really
when I say not super serious, it's not when I'm trying to like get ready for a show or competition.
It's a really casual cut.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cut, like, obviously take my time and make sure we're still keeping our strength gains and our muscle gains as well, because I am still getting stronger. Not probably as quick as I probably should be, but I still am making progress. I'm not declining in strength so much. Like, on some exercises it might be, but a lot of them I'm good. Like, I'm still getting stronger.
So yeah, point being is you're trying to cut but retain muscle performance to the max, basically, and basically still enjoy training. It's not taking over his life like it probably was for me at one point when I was doing when I was doing prep. But most people prepping for like a photo shoot, you've got a deadline, or for a competition you've got a deadline.
Yeah, that's it.
But there's no deadline for days, so it's just cutting really slowly at his own pace. And obviously there's two. I keep on where I'm getting the number 2 from. There's advantages and disadvantages to that.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, so the advantage is you can just do it as and when, there's no pressure. But the con is you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know how much longer you need to do it.
Yeah, I'm mainly just the way I do look at the scales like every week as well, but I do mainly look at how I look visually. Because if you keep looking at the weights all the time, but if you're still getting stronger, and you feel like you're not digressing or regressing, then your weights are probably going to stay the same, even though you're losing body fat. You know, you can't be like fooled by saying, oh, I'm not losing enough body fat now because the weights are still looking the same. It's like, if you look better visually, if your abs are more visible,
yeah, then
you're doing a really good job of losing that fat in the right way.
Yeah, and even the scale weight isn't always the truth teller when you're losing weight.
That's why I said that, yeah.
Yeah, visually. Is that what you actually said?
That's what I said, yeah. Like, if you see yourself visually, and if you're still getting stronger, that's probably because of that, because you're getting muscle building.
You were just talking about performance.
You're building muscle at the same time as losing fat, you know.
But yeah, that's the end of the day. Like, when you're trying to retain muscle on a cut, it's all about performance and maintaining that. Your muscle needs a reason to hang around. And the only way it's going to hang around is if you make your muscles work to the full capacity, just as you were when you're bulking, and you're also got your protein at the top end. Yeah. You don't take calories away from, like, through protein, basically. You leave that protein exactly how it is.
Yeah, if you're cutting, don't just do, like, the lowest, like, diet you would normally do when you get to, like, the lowest point of your body fat at the end of your cut. Don't do that. Like, just slowly.
Yeah. So, yeah, cutting needs to be, for retaining muscle, cutting needs to be slow. If you do it fast, if you just do like a really aggressive cut, say you're on like 3,000 calories maintenance and then you just drop to 2,200, you're going to lose a shit ton of muscle really quick.
And strength.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a strength, there's a depressing side of things.
Yeah, because your body needs to get accustomed to certain energy levels. Basically, it's energy balance at the end of the day. And if you're taking away your energy too quickly, your body ain't got time to get used to that. So it's like, right, I need to take energy from somewhere. And it just starts tucking into your muscle. So you need to do it at a rate that your body can basically keep up with.
Yeah, I've been
retain the muscle.
Yeah, I've been cutting now since the beginning of April. I was 93 kilos, and I don't look that good at all there. And I thought I was looking okay. I thought, I'm not looking that bad. But when I look at myself now, I was like, fuck me.
You look okay, but you just want to see a lot fatter.
It's just, in that picture, I'm properly trying to like suck in my stomach and try and get my abs to show, but there's just not much there. Like,
even now, like, and to be fair for you, genetically, it's quite difficult for Dave to show his midsection. He needs to lose more fat than I would to show his abs.
A lot
I don't need to. I can show abs now, not in a good way, but they're there.
Yeah,
even though I'm fat.
Joe can get a bit fat and still have his ab lines showing. Like, I don't have that.
Yeah, so genetics play a role there as well in terms of you being at your peak end of bulk, you've got no abs. Even now, like you're like halfway point lean, like, or even just over halfway.
Unfortunately,
I think he's just over the halfway point of getting, like, let's say he wanted to get shredded. I don't think he's actually going to push himself to that limit.
Not
you
to
don't
that
necessarily
limit,
need
anyway.
to. You kind of want to get to a really healthy lean, right?
And then I can slowly build up the calories again, and then try and stick to like a maintenance. And obviously, when I get stronger, a lot stronger, then I can start adding more calories again, because the lean body mass will be more then, won't it?
Yeah, so. Exactly. Trying to think where we were going with that. But yeah, in terms of you getting your abs as well. Going back to that point, the way Dave looks now, he's got like, his abs are starting to show a bit of lines, but there's quite a long way for you to go, isn't there? And it's annoying, because actually you look at David's, like, you can't see now, but his delts, his arms, his back, really, really lean. And then when he takes the top off, the abs, you can still see need some work. But that's just David's physique, man. Like, he needs to put time in, and it doesn't come easy to everyone. And Dave's not just going to accept that, are you? You want to get to the point where your abs look good, I think. Like, to the point where you can, if he was to go for a photo shoot, it's pretty impressive. Like, topless, we're talking.
I won't feel funny to just take my top off generally, though.
Yeah, if you did a photo shoot now, right, in a stringer, people would think you're really ripped. Yeah, it's because you can't see the full story. So I think you'd want to get to that point, wouldn't you, where your abs are looking pretty good.
It's very easy to show it off when I actually do, like, suck in and flex the stomach, you know. So.
We'll get. I think that'll be the end point of the diet, but we don't know how long it's going to be, because I say the way Dave is doing it is we're doing it as like a no pressure kind of diet. There's no deadline. We just want him to just keep enjoying training. It's almost an experiment in a way. We've never done this before. We've never cut solo. No. I've never done it because I don't like it, but he's enjoying it, and he's retaining performance in the gym. And David doesn't really give a fuck about eating lots of different sweets and shit. I've never
been fussed about sweets. I must eat, otherwise I'll be. I must eat these certain foods, otherwise I'll be depressed. I think of food as just fuel you need just to build the physique you need. That's it, and just to live the right way in terms of your energy wise.
Exactly. Yeah. So follow along, because we're gonna you're gonna see David getting leaner and leaner. It's very slow. Like, it's not going to be like next YouTube video we put on, David's face is going to be all sucked in like that. It's just going to be like really slow progress, week in, week out. He's going to keep tacking away, slowly taking away the calories, increasing steps, basically what he's doing. Yeah. And we're doing it at the slowest rate possible. So he's not even really feeling it. So yeah, cutting doesn't have to be this really aggressive, take over your life sort of thing. You do it how you want. If you want it to be that way, do it that way. Some people like it. I like it, actually. I'm a bit of a weirdo. I like getting stuck in and getting in that routine.
I don't think you really like it. You do it because it must be done in terms of you being ready for your comp.
This is half true, but once I get the ball rolling, I'll be honest, I'm like, I've got this weird thing for it. Like, I wake up in the morning, I get out of bed and I go for those walks. I'm like, as soon as I get out of bed, I'm like, yeah, I like it. It's the getting out of bed, getting started. I can't be fucked with. But what is
that's the hardest part of the day, isn't it? Getting up.
Yeah. Anyway, bit of a different one. We're gonna go in the gym now. If you're still hanging around, you can watch our workout. Yeah. But I'm not gonna cut this chat out. We always cut our videos and it's too long. So look, if you don't want to watch our shit, don't watch it. But we're trying to help you. Yeah. We want to give you information to follow us, see how you can do things a different way.
We could probably make this a separate video if you wanted to. Anyway, I'm just saying, if you don't want to see this, you can skip straight to the workout video.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Cool. But yeah, I'm not cutting this shit out. You can listen to our bullshit. Nah, it's not bullshit. It's not bullshit. Anyway, let's get in there.
Alright, see you then.
So we're back in the gym. Now, before jumping on the bench press, we've just done some light back exercises. Now, the idea of that is just to help get us into a deeper range of motion when we do bench pressing. So if you imagine the opposite of a bench press would probably be an inverted row or some sort of bent over row. Doing any sort of pulling movement in that plane will help get into a deeper stretch when you're bench pressing. So that's the theory behind doing that. So yeah, it might sound odd to warm up the back before doing your chest, but that's why we do it. We do also do some chest flies just to help open up the shoulders and get nice and stretched. So that would also mean that when you jump on the bench press, you don't get this shock when you hit the deep range of motion. Of course, you start light and then you build up from there. So when we've hit the bench press, we've started as light as the bar. We've then built up one plate, then we've added a 10 kilo, then we've took the 10 kilo off, put another plate on. And at this point, we're pretty close to working weight, which is 120 kilos. So the idea is, the lighter the weight,
you want to start doing more reps, and as you start getting closer to your working weight, you want to reduce the reps just to stop you getting tired too quickly. Now here you can see we're on 120 kilos. We're aiming for up to 6 reps. If we can get more, great. That means we're probably going to increase the weight next time for our top set, but yeah, I seem to be stuck at 6 reps, and Dave, to be fair to him, he's trying to keep up, and let's remember he's in a deficit at the moment, so it's not the same game at all. Body weight helps to lift a lot more weight when it comes to the bench press, and I've got about 10 kilos on David at the moment, so yeah, it's not really a level playing field, but at the same time, he's got to work his ass off to hold the muscle that he's trying to retain. So we always preach whenever it comes to cutting and trying to retain any muscle, you need to train as if you're not on a cut. Basically, the moment you train like you are on a cut and you start lightening the weights too soon, you're not giving your body any reason to hold on to any of the muscle that you've worked for. So yeah, we basically did a heavy set on the bench press, then we did a back off to 105 kilos for me, and David did 100 kilos and just did a rep out, as many reps as we can, and then we moved on to incline dumbbell press. So we've already got our power sets out of the way when we do flat bench press, so we've got nothing to prove at this point, and to be honest, we don't need to train for any more strength. We just want to start working on hypertrophy. So we end up actually only doing 2 sets on dumbbell press. We end up working for we're trying to get up to 12 reps. That's the idea, but it's probably not going to happen every time. You just got to work up to that. As long as you hit 8 reps, we're actually quite happy with that. But of course, the day you hit 12 reps, you want to increase the weights next time. Now, as usual, form is everything. We want to be getting into a nice deep stretch, and if we can help it, we want to get in that full contraction as well. So something for me, I've always been good at getting in deep stretches on pretty much any exercise, so I have no problem getting into depth. But I don't know what it is in my head. I don't know. I find it hard to lock out. It's not that I can't do it. I want to straight away sink back into the stretch. I must be addicted to it. I don't know what it is. Dave has always been good at locking out, but yeah, the reason you want to lock out is locking out is part of that range of motion. It's the full range. It doesn't just mean hitting depth. You need to go all the way up as well. So I need to take some of my own advice here and just try and lock out better, basically, going forwards. Of course, the stretch is massively important though. I'm not going to underestimate the importance of that stretch. The deeper you can stretch the muscle, essentially, I actually think the bigger your muscles have in terms of potential to grow. So there's that, but also I think if you don't get into as deep stretch as you can, you're more likely to get muscle tightness as well. So just work on getting in that full range, and that means in locking out, and that means getting into the deepest stretches possible. So now you can see we've moved on to a chest press fly sort of motion. It's kind of an exercise that I've just kind of made up. I haven't really seen anyone do it. But the idea of what we're doing here is it's allowing us to get into a really deep stretch. It's allowing us to get external rotation of the shoulders, and then as you're contracting, we're also getting internal rotation of the shoulders. So it's allowing you to stretch the pec, but in the terms of the contraction, your pec minor is basically is contracting hard, which is pretty much right at the top of your chest, almost like where it inserts into the shoulder. So that's the part of your chest that a lot of people neglect, including myself, is a real weak point. For me, when I'm just rotating my shoulder over in that contraction, especially on the right side, it feels incredibly hard. So I'm going to keep this sort of motion in my workouts at the moment. We have actually been experimenting quite a lot with rotating in terms of chest motions. So rotating the shoulder as we press. We are just going to play with this sort of ideology though, because at the end of the day, you don't need to make hybrid motions like this. This is trying to get the best of both, where at the end of the day, what this motion is doing is it's taking you into the best stretch whilst you're externally rotated, and as you contract, it's basically taking you into internal rotation. So what you can do is, if you wanted to, you could just do something like an underhand bench and then just work on your underhand bench, and then for another exercise just do standard dumbbell press, so you're getting the best of both. One exercise where you're externally rotated throughout the whole rep, and then the next exercise where you're internally rotated. So you don't need to necessarily do internal and external rotation in one motion. It's just that we wanted to do it today and it felt kind of nice. So yeah, we're going to keep this going for a while until we get bored of it, basically. You will find, if you are going to follow us along our journey, that especially with chest, but any sort of training ideology, we're constantly trying to work out the best ways of training. So we're not necessarily always going to follow the same chest workout. We are going to change it up all the time. But with chest, it can be quite a hard thing for people to connect with mentally. Yeah, well, I guess mentally. It's kind of hard to get that mind-muscle connection with the chest. So it is it's one of those where me and David actually haven't got that bad chest, but at the same time, it's not the best in the world either. I'd say David's is quite a strong point. For me, I'm probably just downplaying it myself, but I feel like it's quite average on myself. It's getting there now. It definitely used to be a lot worse. I've always struggled because I've been quite shoulder dominant with my pressing. I don't know if that's to do with just my biomechanics almost trying to make me favor my shoulders when pressing, because it's probably just naturally more comfortable. So I kind of have to go against what feels comfortable to press. So for example, when I bench press, it might feel stronger to just bench using my shoulders and just leave the pecs behind. I mean, obviously you can't bench without your pecs, but you can minimize it to a degree. So yeah, I'm just trying to go against what my body naturally wants to do to force the pecs to grow. So if that means doing exercises like this to help with that mind muscle connection, then that's why we're going to put these exercises in. Now onto a little bit of shoulder work as well. So this being a chest dominant workout, we still had some shoulder work in there as well. So we've just moved on to some dumbbell lateral raises. We've opted for the seated version of this exercise today. Now the main reason to go with a seated version is really just to take the temptation out from wanting to swing so much. Don't get me wrong, you can absolutely still swing when you're seated, but it's a little bit less tempting than if you were stood up. If you're stood up, it's so tempting just to swing with your back. And even if you wanted to chuck some legs in there, but yeah, at least being on a seat, you at least take your legs out for damn sure. So with shoulders, just try and get that full range of motion. We try to get the best of both worlds. We try to get a heavy set in, and we try to get a lighter set in. So the idea being, you get that heavy set, you're going to have some sloppy reps here and there, but then when you drop the weight, you're then going to have to make sure you have those clean reps, and actually the lighter set is going to really hurt more. So yeah, enjoy that heavy set whilst it lasts, because the lighter set is where you're going to bring the pain. I don't think we actually recorded the lighter set today, so unfortunately you just get to see our heavy set, if you want to call 15 kilos heavy, but you can make 15 kilos feel very heavy, especially if you're controlling those negatives. The negative part of each rep is the most important part. If you're not controlling the negatives, you are leaving gains on the table, absolutely. Alright, moving on to the final exercise of today. So the last exercise we've done is just one tricep exercise. Now you've got to remember, it probably doesn't seem like very much that we're doing for triceps, but we have just had a session of pressing, so you can't press without your triceps at the end of the day, so they're pre-fatigued. You don't actually need all that much work to do on the triceps if you're going to put it on the end of a push day. So the only thing I would say is the exercise you do pick, if you're only going to do one tricep exercise at the end of a push day, just make sure it's an isolation exercise. There's no point doing a dip because you've already done so much pressing. The only way I would do a dip is if I was doing 2 tricep exercises, then the dip can go in there as well. Or if you did a bench dip, I guess you could use that because it's a little bit different, but I wouldn't use the parallel bars to do it because it's just going to chuck your chest back in there and your shoulders. So that's why we've opted for the tricep push down with a cable today. As you can see, we're just trying to get into a deep range as usual, and then we're trying to get a nice contraction, pushing all the way down into the lockout. Tricep exercises, you should always be locking out. That is the full range of the tricep. So if you do that, if you don't lock out, then you're just robbing yourself of gains once again. And the same with the stretch. It's very easy to get into a nice deep tricep stretch. So just get into that deep range. Don't do a half rep. You look like a bloody idiot when you don't do your full range as well. Nobody cares how much you can tricep push down. No one cares. So if you're one of those people who looks around when you're doing the stack on a tricep push down, just stop. No one cares, especially if you're half repping it. But yeah, people do care if you're going to a nice deep stretch and you're getting a full lockout, and then they also look at the tricep pump you got and it's absolutely stonking. That's when people might be looking, because they'll just be like, bloody hell, you've got some big arms, how's he done that? And then they'll see it's from that full range of motion, not from crap half reps of doing the stack. Remember, nobody cares if you can do the stack on a tricep extension. If you made it this far into the video, appreciate the view time. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the workout. See, Dave's looking nice and lean here, but this was actually a few weeks ago. So if you're interested, stay tuned because he's actually dropped a bit more body fat. And I am actually going to edit one of his physique updates soon, so you get to see how he's looking. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.